Okay, good afternoon. Today I'm going to read a short story by Penelope Lively, who's been made into a dame in England, which is the equivalent of a knighthood. And she was born in 1933 and is, as far as I'm aware, still alive in Cairo, Egypt. And she's written a lot of novels, both for children and adults, that stress the significance of memory and historical continuity. And after spending her childhood in Egypt, she was sent to London and then was educated in England and graduated from St. Anne's College at Oxford, and then got married and had children and started writing children's books after her children were a little bit older. And she actually wrote her first book for children, which is interesting, that I've actually ordered because I'm interested to read it, is about modern English villagers who fear a resurgence of medieval plague. And we've just had a resurgence of a plague, so I thought it was interesting. Anyway, she's also written a lot of books for adults, full-length novels, and then a lot of short stories. And I'm going to read one of those short stories to you today. And before her work is mostly set in the UK, and just to sort of orient us all here, I just want to remind you that when they talk about Boots, that's a drugstore, a big drugstore chain in the UK, similar to CVS and Walgreens. And when they talk about Marks and Spencer's, that's the supermarket that they're going to. So I thought it would be useful to know that. Anyway, this short story is called License to Kill. "Coat," she said. "No, the red one, please." The girl got the red one, stood there with it. "Scarf, please, grey scarf." "Shopping list," said the girl, pouncing triumphant. "Put butter, I forgot, and J-cloths." She was 86 and forgot much. The mind was porous. Some things lodged, others did not. The girl wrote and drew a cat with whiskers, back view of, and a smiley face. She was 18. Might try that Aussie shampoo. Might go to Oxford Street with Lindy at the weekend. They went out of the front door. Callie said, "Shall I do the Morty's lock, Pauline?" "Yes, do it." The agency had asked if she would rather be Miss, and she'd said not. Hospitals don't now either, one had noticed. Neither here nor there as far as she was concerned, so long as they knew who you were. Slow and careful on the steps for her. Callie jumped the last three, stood at the bottom checking her phone, remembered she wasn't supposed to when working, shoved it in her pocket. She said, "Shall we get a coffee when we're in Marks?" Pauline considered. Coffee, and one might need a loo before the shopping expedition is done. There's the bank and Boots. Maybe. You plot daily, face down circumstance. Measure out your life with not coffee spoons, pills. Line them up with breakfast, lunch, supper. Never mind mermaids and lilacs in bloom and all that stuff. He hadn't a clue. In his 20s, wasn't he? It's pills. And have I phoned the surgery? And did I pay that gas bill? And have I got my debit card? Have I? She delved into her bag. Ah, there. Shall I eat a peach? Peaches, she told Callie. Stick them on the list. You said they never got ripe last time. I'll persist. Dare. Maybe we will have a coffee, too. In the bank, Callie had to put the number into the cash dispenser for her. Not easy to see them now. Callie said, "That bank person's staring at me, thinks I'm up to no good using your PIN. I better give him a smile. There, he's lost interest. I am not under coercion." "Mind," said Callie, "if you were going to nick someone's card and march them to the bank, they'd hardly just go along with it and stand there watching." "They might if they'd lost their marbles. What was he thinking, perhaps?" 3 20s and 2 10s. I've put them in the purse and the card. Here, Boots next. I can look at the shampoo while she's waiting for her prescription. She won't mind. That's the thing about this job, the spare time, sort of. Easy and spare time. And this Pauline's fine, not like her in Brunswick Gardens. Do this, do that, and never a thank you. 95, that one is. How can a person be 95 years old? They found a chair for Pauline by the prescription counter. "Yes, go and browse. I shall be here for some time. I can see. And time is no longer of the essence. It's baggy stuff, disposable, no need to preserve, allocate. Actually, that's a legal term, isn't it? Of the essence, to do with contracts. In non-legal life, you just mean the need to hurry." "I have hurried," she thought. "I have been hurried. Now I no longer hurry. Days are capricious, to be idle through. Butt ends of my days. Oh, for heaven's sake, enough of that stuff. Mental sediment, all that was once read. Extraordinary, the accretion of it all. What one has done, what one vaguely knows, the arbitrary archive." The pills came, whole bag of them, the ones to be taken before a meal, the ones after, the ones with. The pharmacist inspected the hall. "I think you're familiar with all these." Tiresomely familiar. The pharmacist was young, Asian, pretty. Delicate, small hands folded the bag shut and passed it to Pauline. Nice smile. "Thank you. Science A-levels, degree also, I think. The world will always need pharmacists. Wise girl, in fact, will need them more and more with the expanding hordes of the likes of me. Dispense pills or make them. That's the business to be in." Callie had returned with Boots' bag. "Satisfactory," said Pauline. "I'm trying a new shampoo." And black nail polish, but she wouldn't care for that. Marks and Spencer was the serious challenge, Pauline's grocery requirements. They began to work along the aisles, a slow process. Pauline was a judicious shopper. She peered, considered. Callie pushed the trolley. She drifted, in the head, eyed people, fished for her phone, remembered and put it back. She needed to text Lindy and Mum. That would have to wait. Nice, that girl's jacket. Zara? Oh, yuck, that kid with a runny nose. If I have children. She thought briefly of those unimaginable children. Bin them, too far away. Well, out there somewhere, but not of interest just now. Saturday night, nothing fixed up. Lindy or that Dan? They were in vegetables. "Where do these beans come from?" said Pauline. "Kenya." "Ah, large carbon footprint then. Still, I want some." "Kenya. One had a spot of bother once in Mombasa. Had to use the whole bag of tricks. I'd know him now, the face and the name, but I can't put a tag on that woman I met last week." "Mustard," she told Callie. "I forgot that." Okay, we'll get there. You're still potatoes and salad things. Right, and use your phone while we're having coffee. That's fine by me. Oh, said Callie, there's no need. I noticed you wanting to, dear, said Pauline. Tea break coming up. Embarrassed, Callie focused on lettuce, many forms of lettuce. Do you like the mixed baby leaves? No, let's have those little gems. Absurd name, small lettuces they are. My dad grows them, I think. Gardening is his thing. I used to like helping him, but I've gone off it. The worms and stuff. I'm more of an indoor person. So what's in mind for the long term? You don't want to be dancing attendance on old women indefinitely. Oh, no, said Callie. I mean, I really like it, of course, but with all options open. Quite right. When I was her age, thought Pauline, the options were confusing. They always are. Who'd be young? Everything wide open, which means that the not chosen is discarded, junked. I have junked being a policewoman, interior decorator, estate agent, high court judge, home secretary. I'm wondering a bit about nursing, said Callie. Only a bit? I'm not sure about blood. I've not been awfully good with that. I imagine you get inured to it, said Pauline. But if in doubt, maybe look elsewhere. I like cooking. My mum thinks perhaps a catering course. City and Guilds there is, hospitality and catering. Nice idea, distinct possibility. Now, where are the potatoes? Over here. Is it baking you want? Jersey Royals, or are we in the wrong time of year? Yes, spring they are, and this is autumn. For a moment I was untethered, adrift in time, alarming, but now I'm hitched again to a Tuesday in October and in need of a rest. We'll head for the coffee place, she said. My knee is complaining. Grab a small bag of small potatoes and find us somewhere to sit. Callie organized the table, queued up for 2 coffees, rejoined Pauline. Good, we've earned this. Pauline took a sip of her coffee. Hot. Have to leave it a minute. You do your texting now. Rest period. Feeling a little exposed, Callie told her mother she was in Marks with the Albert Street lady, who was okay. Nice, in fact, and I'll let you know about Sunday this evening. She arranged Lindy for Saturday. She nudged Dan. She drank her coffee. Yes, said Pauline. Why don't you investigate this catering idea? Might lead to all sorts of things. Oh, it's such a teaser. The road not taken. Do you know that poem? 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. Hackneyed rather now, but he had a good point. I expect you were a teacher, Pauline, were you? Said Callie kindly. Pauline finished her coffee. No, dear, I was a spy. She collected her bag, her stick. Well, we better get on, I suppose. They got up, Callie following Pauline. She saw her looking much as she had before. Really old, those thick glasses, the stick, but looking also different. She was talking about chicken now, Pauline, something about how she roasts a chicken with tarragon and lemon. Callie stared at the chicken carcasses. License to kill, she ventured. Well, yes, but it wasn't called that. There was a euphemism. Find me the small size, could you? I can never finish the medium ones. Were you, said Callie, did you spy sort of on your own? No, it's an organizational operation. Have you heard of MI5 and MI6? Callie said she had. Well then, and it's less James Bond than you'd think. Office work to an extent. Pauline examined a proffered chicken. That one will do nicely. Office and what one might call exit periods, most of which are still there with absolute clarity, not in chronological order and richly peopled. Oh, people above all, a filing cabinet of faces. One was always good at filing faces, of course. They had reached oil and dressings. Which mustard? Asked Callie, and we want olive oil. Like onions, she thought, a person is layers, and you haven't a clue. You just look at the top. An old person's just an old person, you think. Anyone is. Her there in that awful pink short skirt, too short for her. My mum's age she is. And him with the dreadlocks. She said, did you go spying in lots of far-away places? A good Italian oil I like, said Pauline, and a lemon-flavored one. Chimborazo, Cotopaxi. In fact, one never made it to either of those, nor yet Popocatépetl or Mogadishu. No, this lass doesn't need to know about that episode in Mogadishu or Kinshasa. I suppose I did. It tends to be a global procedure, but forget speedboats on blue Bermuda waters or car chases in Singapore. More waiting about in train stations and meeting up with people one would have preferred to avoid. I'd like to travel, said Callie. Said to broaden the mind, though that depends rather on the condition of the mind in question. I have known some well-traveled minds that were nicely atrophied. Now, how's that list? Where should we be heading? Marmalade, with J-cloths later. I've been to the Algarve, said Callie. I tried to learn a bit of Portuguese. Please and thank you, at the least. But Pauline didn't go on Thompson holidays, she thought. I don't know what she did or what that person she once was did, but it can't have been lying on the beach and looking for the right taberna, not if licensed to kill. She stared at Pauline's back, tweed-clad, somewhat bent, inscrutable. Pauline stumped ahead, thinking again about faces, that gallery in the head. From a display of grapefruit, a particular mugshot surged. Yes, she said, I remember you, without enthusiasm. Training, of course, an essential technique. What you didn't know was that you would be stashing them away forever. A known face among the avocados, too. Not unwelcome, but irrelevant now. Get away with you, she told him. I'm through with all that, and so are you, wherever you are. Actually, we're the wrong way, said Callie. We want to be over there. Aim me at the marmalade, then. Time one was pretty good at direction, which came in handy on occasion, saved the situation indeed once, peculiarly nasty area of Marrakesh. She came to a stop. Thick cut, golden shred, lime. Is that for heaven's sake? Who needs all these? Where's plain Oxford? Right. What else? I'll nip down there for the J-cloth, said Callie. Then we're done. When she returned, Pauline was considering her purchases. There's an awful lot here. Are we going to be able to manage it? Oh, yes. With your trolley thing, it holds ever so much. Right. Let's get done with this then. Queues at every checkout. Maybe here, said Pauline. They lined up. Pauline noted that the woman ahead lived alone, had a cat, a weakness for milk, chocolate, liked a glass of wine, planned to clean her oven and polish some silver. It dies hard, she thought, the instinct to observe, identify. Tiresome rather nowadays. I don't need to know about this lady's home life. Bear in mind, she told Callie, that whatever you do choose as an occupation, in due course, will form the habits of a lifetime. You mean hospitality and catering, and I'll think canapes and cupcakes forever? It goes with the territory, I imagine. I am doomed to pry and make informed guesses. But today, I've made a bad choice. Wrong queue we're in. 2 customers ahead of them. Trouble had brewed. A man had loudly pointed out that his egg carton included one that was broken. Should have checked, shouldn't he, said Callie. A replacement had been sent for, but now he was in dispute with the cashier over whether or not the chicken korma was included in the mix and match offer. It said so. I saw quite clear. You see, it means it's what was said. You telling me I can't read? The dispute smoldered. The queue grew restive. Pauline leaned against the display of fruit gums. Way back in my training days, she said, I went on that course where you learned how to strangle a person with the bare hands. I think I'm about to exercise the skill for only the second time. Callie looked at her, blinked, looked away, looked back, and Pauline was checking her purse for her debit card. Dumpy grey hair, that coat slightly worn at the cuffs. She did say that. Yes, she did. Some accommodation had been reached ahead. The man gathered his bags and departed. Just as well, said Pauline. He was quite a big chap. Ah, here's my card. Now are we really going to get all this in? The shopping was paid for, stowed away. They emerged into the street. Pauline paused to hitch her bag over her shoulder. There, thank you, dear. Mission accomplished. Not that one ever said that, merely returned to the office and set about filing the report. Now I file for my own satisfaction, and today is a reasonable day, with my knee not too bad, and those autumn leaves are as though never seen before. And look, just look, the berries on that sawbus. Callie did not see leaves or berries. She saw street, cars, people, all much the same as half an hour ago, but somehow vaguely unreliable. She felt oddly older, a slightly different person who knew more, who knew to make adjustments. Maybe not catering and hospitality, she thought. I may not be a catering and hospitality person. I don't know who I am yet, do I? Who I may be. That's the story. She had a very interesting life and wrote some very interesting stories. And she did a memoir, in fact. One of the things she did quite recently was she wrote an anti-memoir, and it was a series of narratives drawn from her own life that Lively rewrote so as to explore the manner in which her life might have differed had she made or had forced on her other choices. Okay, So that's one of her more recent novels. Anyway, thank you. I'm sorry the auditorium wasn't available tomorrow, so this had to be just recorded. But next week we'll be back in the auditorium, and hopefully you'll join us there. Thank you.